Hey everybody, we are live. I haven't done a live video in ages, so thank you guys so much if you are tuning in today and watching this. It's Sunday, so happy Sunday. Obviously things are really crazy around the world right now. I am back in Los Angeles today, and many of you may not know, but since January 6th, I've actually been in Atlanta, Georgia, working on a movie called Red Notice. It's a Netflix movie, and last Friday, we actually got shut down with many other productions around the world and got sent home. So I'm back in Los Angeles. I've been home for a little less than a week. And like many of you, I am readjusting to, being home and not having any work. So I know for a lot of us, that's kind of a tough thing. So I wanted to share some of my kind of staying at home ideas that I have. I do work as a freelancer most of the year when I'm not on a movie. So I definitely have some things that help me keep on schedule. And thanks so much for joining. If you're just joining in, Prasanna, hi. Nice to see you in the chat. Thank you guys for joining in and watching. And I just want to share with you, because I know a lot of us are struggling right now here in Los Angeles. We are on orders to stay home. So that means the only thing you can leave to go do is going to the grocery store. You can still go on walks, hikes, and exercise, but obviously all the gyms are closed. Restaurants are only open for takeout and delivery, and the grocery stores are obviously limited in what they have. So it's a weird time for all of us, and it's hard for a lot of us to kind of stick to a schedule right now. I will say that for me, the most important thing, even when I'm working from home, is just sticking to a schedule and making sure that I don't sleep in too late, and then always getting my exercise. I always have coffee first and then exercise. And then I come and I make an agenda for what I want to get done. And I know that a lot of people out there are also really upset and maybe a little bit depressed about what's going on with this whole situation with coronavirus. And it is really scary. And it is really serious as well. But I also think that there's such a silver lining to everything that's happening right now, and that there's so many positive things we can all take out of this. I think one of those silver linings is just that, especially as Americans, we never or hardly ever take vacations. And even when we do, we keep working. So I think it's a really valuable time for all of us to reassess what's important in our lives. And we all get to stay home with our families. And for a lot of us, there's going to be so many things you're going to be able to catch up on. And I think it's really powerful to have the mindfulness to be able to assess what's important to you in your life and your home, and what your passions are, and do all those loose ends around the house. Thank you, Salaga, for joining us in the chat as well. Hi. I was just saying that I think that it's really important that we just take time to be able to do things around the house. Let me just respond to one of the people in the chat. Ape Man, I just saw a group of 6 ladies walking up our big hill, appropriately spaced 6 feet apart. Yeah, it is so funny. I actually did work today on a project for a public service announcement, actually for disaster relief. So that was something that I guess we had a permit to be able to shoot today. It was a very small crew, and we were talking about disaster preparedness, but everyone had to wear masks. And we had only about 4 people. And then I went for a walk before I came on here. And yeah, it is interesting to see everyone spaced out really far. Even last night, just walking around our neighborhood, people are out talking to each other, but everyone's in very wide circle. I will say, as far as the community goes, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this in your communities, but our community that we live in here in Los Angeles is so much more full of life, because everyone is outside with their kids and people are walking. It feels like a real community, because here in LA, it's everyone is so busy all the time that people stop experiencing life and stop paying attention to like how beautiful things are around us. The air pollution here in Los Angeles is gone. Like the skies are so blue. It's absolutely beautiful. And I wish that we were able to leave our neighborhood so that I could go hiking, which we can't right now. But I will say that nature and animals right now are like all rejoicing because there's just so few people around in the wilderness, which is amazing. Krieger versus Big Brother just also said in the chat that he's an essential employee because he works in a grocery store. So, I mean, those are the real heroes, I think, of this whole situation too, is just the people that work in hospitals, nursing staff, grocery stores, food delivery services. Those are the people that are really out and about and having to interact with so many people. And I know that here at our house, we've ordered food the last 2 nights. So I definitely want to give thanks to all those people that are out there doing that because they're really the people putting their lives on the line. So thank you. And thanks to everyone that does that for a daily job. I also want to say too, that I think this is a good opportunity for everyone to just practice mindfulness. I always meditate every morning for at least 5 minutes. And so what I do is I basically just like go in my office where it's quiet. I'll sit with my cup of coffee. I will put a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and close my eyes and just try to drown out all the noise that's inside your head, because our brains, I think, I can't remember, but it's like we think thousands of things every minute. And sometimes you just need to drown all that out and figure out what you're really wanting to think about that day and put your mindset in a good place instead of maybe like one of anxiety and stress. Let's see in the chat. Oh, Charlie Hikes, hi. And yes, you're welcome. You guys that work in the stores that are open right now are doing such a great service. So thank you again. And it's just such an important part of society right now that you guys are doing. So I appreciate that. And I think all the people that are out there appreciate that too. My mom actually lives in Colorado and she survives off getting food delivered to her. Because she's not able to go to the grocery stores. So this is affecting obviously every industry, not just movies and not just, other food industry and things like that. So my mom has a caretaker. And so this is also affecting that because her caretaker can't actually come and see her right now. So, and her grocery store is no longer doing food delivery. So that's why we should all be self-isolating or practicing social distancing as much as we can right now, just to protect the older population, because not all of them can get out, but some of the situation is actually making it so that they have to leave their house because there's no other options for them to be able to get food. So thank you guys again if you work in that industry, because it's a really important thing right now. I'm going to jump into questions in a second. I just want to give a couple more tips on just if you are working from home and if you aren't an essential employee somewhere, like me, and like a lot of other people that are staying home, and maybe you have kids or maybe you don't, but you're staying home and you don't really know what to do with yourself. I'll tell you just some of the things that I've done this week. So I've been home since Monday. I've actually gotten a lot of stuff done. While I've also had moments of like, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself today? I've also like gotten a lot accomplished, and I've actually felt a lot more connected with people this week also by doing video conferences with Zoom and talking to friends that I haven't talked to in a long time and just catching up. Because now all of a sudden, a lot of us have time on our hands that we didn't have before. And so there's so many people and experiences or passions that you may have in your life that you've always made excuses for not to do because you didn't have time. And now, despite the horrible virus, we all have an opportunity to be able to maybe put some time into those things. So like this week I reupholstered some stools. I've been baking and cooking a lot more. I've been writing down video ideas. I'm taking some e-courses so that I can make better content for you guys, and grow my YouTube channel. Also like retaking my Spanish e-course. So there's so many things, not only that we can be learning right now, but just doing that are positive. So I think that it's a great opportunity for all of us. And I think we all need to see the silver lining in this, and not just get inundated with the news that's constantly telling us how terrible everything is in the world right now. So I hope that helps you guys in being a little bit more positive if you are having a hard time. And one of the things that I do, or I try to do, I don't do it every day, is to actually get dressed up, put my, brush my hair, which I don't do every day, and kind of get ready like I'm going to work. And it makes me feel a little bit more productive when I do sit down at the computer here and get going. So I'm going to jump into some questions that I got on Instagram and Facebook. And if there's anything you guys want to know, let me know in the chat and I will answer them as well. So let me go to my questions here. So one of the questions I got on Instagram is from Sarge516, and he asked, what is my ideal backpacking trip, solo or with a partner? Well, I think my ideal backpacking trip would actually be with a partner or a group. I just think it makes it more fun to experience things sometimes with a group. You get to share it with somebody. And obviously all my videos, I'm sharing that experience with you. So almost every trip that I take is by myself. So for me, getting to experience something with a group is always a really special thing for me. Like Kilimanjaro, I got to go with a group of 6 women and it was absolutely amazing. I think it's also nice to share the weight of the food and things that you bring. So a group can be a really, really fun time. And I actually get a little bit scared in the woods. So it's nice to have a friend for that as well. Let me just check the chat here. 8-man, I'm practicing for a thru hike and haven't bathed in a week. Well, when I was on Kilimanjaro, I didn't bathe for a week either. I actually brought a little pack of biodegradable wet wipes and like a plastic bag to keep the trash in. And that's what I used for the shower. In the morning in my sleeping bag, I would just wash myself. And so that's no big deal. Eric asked if I have a dog. You know what? I have kind of like not adopted. My best friend has a dog and I take him out hiking all the time as much as I can. And I would say he's like my shared child. I used to have a dog a long time ago, and her name was Athena. She was a pit bull, and she went everywhere with me. She passed away a couple years ago, and I loved her to death. But I had her from 4 weeks old. But Louie is the name of my best friend's dog. He's a golden retriever, golden yellow lab rather, and he goes hiking with me all the time. So I love having a friend, a furry friend to go hiking with also. Another person, Maldor74, asked if I'm ever going to attempt Mount Everest. This is something I've thought about a great deal. I definitely do want to do more of the 7 summits. I actually looked into this year either doing Denali or Karsten's Pyramid, which is in Indonesia. And Denali probably won't happen. I mean, probably there's not going to be a lot of travel that happens this year at all, unfortunately, but Denali is high on my list, Mount McKinley, I guess is what it was used to called. But Everest, I don't know. I think that there's a lot that needs to change on Everest, and I know they are making a lot of updates to the way that trail is managed right now. I think that they're allowing way too many people to attempt to climb it. It's become a very unsafe place for people to climb. And I think that it's also become, instead of like a mountaineering feat, it's become more of like a check for people, like a box for people to check. And there's so many people that are going there that are not experienced, and that just, it's kind of like if you pay a guide enough and bring enough oxygen, almost anyone could do it. And the lines up the mountain this year were horrendous. Everest is closed right now because of coronavirus. But I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely interested in hiking in Nepal and doing some of the other high elevation through hikes and stuff like that. But I don't know if I'm going to do Everest. I think some things need to change with pollution, trash pickup, and it should really be a World Heritage Site that's managed by the UNESCO. So I think until that, I'm probably not going to hike Everest. Let me just check the chat here. Eric asks, what's the cost of Mount Everest? I'm actually not entirely sure. I would say that it probably costs around $10,000. Denali costs around $10,000, and some of the other 7 summits, because they are in geographically difficult places, cost between $10,000 and $25,000. So it's definitely not a budget backpackers climb. Definitely, I would say Kilimanjaro is probably the least expensive of the 7 summits. And that one you can go for probably as little as $2,500 for your guide. That doesn't include airfare and all of that stuff. So it's pretty expensive to do any of those, which is why I do so many other trails as well here in California. Ape Man asked if I'm going to do Mount Shasta as a practice mountaineering trip. Yeah, I actually would love to do Mount Shasta. I did a video on Lawson Volcanic a couple years ago, and I absolutely love the area. And I've always wanted to go back and do some more hiking up there because it's so beautiful. So yeah, I'd definitely love to do Shasta and Mount Whitney, hopefully this year, if time permits, which it's looking like it might. So those are definitely 2 California mountains that I definitely want to do. And then also on this side of the country, I really want to do Mount Rainier as well. I'm not sure if I would want to do them in the summer or the winter and ski down, but those are definitely 3 that are on my list. Eric also asked if I have any hobbies other than hiking. Well, yes, I do. As you guys know, I'm a stunt woman, and I was a gymnast in college. So I love to like flip around and still practice that. I also was a springboard diver and a pole vaulter. So while those are a little bit more difficult to do, I love to paddleboard, and it's not the easiest thing to lug over to the ocean, but I plan on hopefully getting an inflatable one because I do love getting out on the water, running at fitness classes. I also really love to cook, and I don't do it that often anymore. Andrew doesn't eat most baked goods, so if I make cookies or a cake or anything like that, I have to eat it myself, which usually dissuades me from doing too much of that. But I really love to cook. I actually thought about going to culinary school instead of college when I was in high school. So that's definitely a hobby that I love. And I also really love scuba diving, which you guys have probably seen in some of my other videos. Also something that's not like just an easy to go and do thing, but those are some of my hobbies that I really enjoy. And obviously writing and making videos as well. And then let's see what other questions I had here. Ottoman Royal asked if I'd ever visited Pakistan. I have not visited Pakistan. However, earlier, I think at the end of last year, I actually did get invited to go on a trip to Pakistan and was considering going. It would have happened in January of this year if it had happened. Unfortunately, because of the unrest between Pakistan and India, that trip was canceled. So we'll see. Pakistan might pop back up depending on the political climate, the safety, things like that. But there are some amazing mountain ranges in Pakistan, and I'd love to explore more of the Middle East. I've only been to Dubai, and I know that there's some really amazing and beautiful temples and old buildings, UNESCO sites. So definitely on my list of places I'd like to see at some point. So thank you for that question. I also got asked, let's see here. Do-do-do. Oh, Lights Camera Passionate asks if I've watched Castle Rock season 2. Funnily enough, if you guys didn't know this, I was actually in Castle Rock season 2 and I doubled Lizzie Kaplan. So if you haven't watched it, which I haven't watched it yet either, honestly, everyone should check it out since many of us are staying home right now and just Netflix and Huluing and watching online shows. So definitely check out Castle Rock season 2. I did the last like 4 episodes, so you guys can see me there or not see me since I'm stunt doubling. So we'll see if you guys can figure out which one's me and which one's not. I'm going to answer a couple more questions about stunts. And first, let me just look in the chat here. Ape Man asked, thank you. He said, my videography is great. Thank you so much. What's my favorite setup for cameras and a mic? Okay, so I've actually been changing what I normally shoot with. I normally shoot with a Sony a7S II with a 16 to 35 millimeter lens on it. And I have a Sennheiser wireless microphone. I also have a Rode shotgun mic. What I find though is that it's so heavy and it's a lot of weight to carry as well when you're camping or backpacking, hiking. The only problem is that takes extraordinary photos. And so if I don't bring that and I want to take a photo of something that I can't, so I almost always bring it anyways, but a lot more often I've actually been shooting on my DJI Osmo Pocket. And if I had it in here, I'd show it to you. It's actually in my camera closet right now. So I've been shooting on that. It has this great little holder that it like holds your phone with the Osmo Pocket, and you can stick a microphone on there too. So that's really great. I think I have a link in the description for that camera. And if not, I'll put it in here after this video ends. So that one I love because it's like super small. I can just put it in my pocket. The audio is actually really decent on it. And it has an internal gimbal, so I can like run down the trail or like pan really quickly and it keeps up and I don't have to worry about like shaky, unstable stuff. So I highly recommend that one if you are doing like backpacking and outdoor stuff because it's really super simple and easy to use. I also really like the GoPro Hero 8, which I just got a couple of months ago. And I just used it on my new Smoky Mountains video, which should be coming out in about a week and a half. So you guys can stay tuned for that. And if you like the video on that, then I would recommend that one too, because the internal gimbal on that is amazing. I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe the footage is so steady. So I really like that one also for that. And I honestly use my phone a lot when I am just kind of like guerrilla style doing stuff. Especially for hiking, it's super easy to just pull out and it shoots in 4K. Since so many things shoot in 4K these days, it's really easy to use them interchangeably, which is fantastic and makes everything a lot easier to shoot. So, and then I would say with all of those cameras, I would say the only negative thing of the DJI is that the color profile is not necessarily the same as like the GoPro or my Sony. And obviously, if you're wanting to do a lot of panning or zooming, or you want more variety of shots, definitely get like a real legit camera like the Sony. But if you want to do more like vlog stuff and quick like walking of the trails, I love the DJI because it's just so easy and it has that internal gimbal. So it's really awesome. Yeah, and Ape Man just said he uses the GoPro Hero 8 and the stabilization it's just fantastic. So I totally agree with you. And I used it for the first time a couple weeks ago and was blown away. So I love it. And finally, it's a GoPro that actually has audio that works. So who knew that was ever possible? So I'm just going to jump into a couple more questions I had from people about stunts. But you guys have any other questions in the chat, please let me know and I'll answer them. So one of the questions I always get asked about stunts is like what my favorite stunt was, which is kind of a hard question to answer. I've done, gosh, I don't even know how many movies now. but I actually, on the movie that I'm on now, and I can't tell you too much about it because spoilers, I'm not allowed to say, but I got to do a really long car sequence chase that was a ton of fun. We were actually down inside of a mine, and I got to hit other cars and crash and drive at high speeds. And so that was probably one of the funnest sequences I've ever gotten to do. I absolutely loved it. And one of the other ones was Transformers 4, which I did really at the beginning of my career. And I got to do all kinds of fun stuff. Working with Michael Bay is always super exciting. So trying to not get smashed by an imaginary robot or dangle on wires really high up off the ground. That movie was a ton of fun. So I really enjoyed that one too. And then I'm just going to check the chat here. Oh, Prasanna Kumar, to switch gears again, asked if I have a drone. Yes, I do have a drone. I have the DJI Mavic 2, and I love that drone. It's fantastic. I know they do have a Zoom version now, which I don't know. I guess it's great if that's what you really want to focus on, is drone zooming. It works for me, just the regular Mavic 2. I also have like the older DJIs, some of the original ones, which I'm trying to get rid of right now because we have too many cameras. But yeah, the Mavic 2 is what I bring pretty much everywhere. One of my plans this year is to get my license, so I'm legit. I haven't done that yet, but maybe this is a good time to do that. So, but yeah, I do love that drone, and it shoots in 4K. I think that in order to get the best color profiles for that one, you do need to get the ND filters, which are a little bit less than $100, I think, for the good ones, but they make a world of difference. My one complaint with the DJI Mavic is that the f-stops are about 2 to 3 off. So it's very often blown out. And so you have to know that and adjust for that. And I guess my best way of fixing that is to take my real camera, I point it up at the sky at what I'm shooting at, I get the numbers off that, and then I input that into the drone. And I just wanted to say goodbye to Krieger versus Big Brother. So thank you for watching. I see you have to end your lunch break, so I appreciate you watching for your lunch break. And I'll see you in my next video. But yeah, thanks for that question about drones. I get asked that a lot too, about just like what cameras to use and what drones to use. Obviously, there's fewer and fewer places where you can actually fly drones. So I don't obviously have them in all of my videos, but like last year in Norway was amazing. I got to fly to a lot of places. I've crashed them a few times, but I try not to do that as well. Let's see. You know, Norway for me last year was just phenomenal. Just the whole travel experience was great, and getting to do all the different, these really unique experiences was a ton of fun. So I think droning over reindeer, you know, running through the Arctic was pretty life-changing. I think one of my other favorite videos is my videos from Madeira Island in the Azores in Portugal, because that trip was just so much fun. I went by myself. I got to wine taste and stay in all these cute little B&Bs. I had this off-the-grid glamping hut on the ocean in Madeira Island, and I got to wake up to the ocean and had an absolute blast making that video and editing it and all that stuff too. So that was one of my favorites, definitely. But I have fun doing all my videos because I always just pretend that all of you guys that are in the chat right now are literally there with me, and I just talk to you. So even when I'm just hiking a trail near my house, I have a ton of fun. So I'm excited to actually get the Smoky Mountains video out too to you guys, because I had a ton of fun shooting it. And I think you're going to like it a lot. I went on lots of trails. I had rain, I had snow. So it's going to be a really fun one to show you guys as well. So I'm excited about that as well. And let me know if you guys have any other questions. I will answer a few more about stunts, I guess. So I have been doing stunts since 2011, I want to say. So it's been a long time. Obviously, as you guys all know, my one goal is to have my own travel show and take you guys to see more of the planet. Obviously, that's hard right now since most of us can't travel, but we can all think about and imagine the places we want to travel to when this is all over. And I also think this is a really cool opportunity to be able to explore our backyards a little bit more and explore our local communities. Even just like on my walks the last couple of days, I've noticed like new things around the neighborhood, murals and things I hadn't noticed before. So I think it's a really good opportunity to be able to take in our surroundings more than we did before. And going back to stunts, I think that I love it so much because I've always been a performer, and coming up through high school and college doing gymnastics and pole vaulting and running track and doing diving was always so much fun for me to be able to showcase kind of like what I could do. And I get to do that in movies and TV shows now. So it's a lot of fun. I do have, if we ever get back to work, projects throughout the rest of the year. So I'm excited to share those with you as well as the year progresses. And as, you know, this kind of crisis that we're in right now starts fizzling out, however long that's going to be, I don't know. And I think we all just need to be as positive as we can and share our positivity with others. If you are staying at home right now with your family or with your kids, think of this as an opportunity to connect more together and to grow your relationships into stronger relationships. You know, I think also something that we can all do is reach out to somebody we haven't reached out to in a long time. On Wednesday, I actually did a Zoom conference call with about 9 other women that I have traveled with over the last couple of years, and we haven't seen each other. We all live in different parts of the globe. And it was so amazing to just talk to everyone. And we all came out of it with such a positive, happy attitude from that. Just getting to connect, even though we couldn't physically touch each other, getting to connect via, you know, our great technology that we have here. So definitely reach out to someone, tell them hello, ask them how they're doing. It's so powerful to spread positivity and happiness, especially in times like this. I have a couple more questions here, and then I'm going to let you guys get on with your Sunday and start editing some more videos for you too. 8Man asked if I've ever solo overnight backpacked. He said he enjoys being alone a lot in the Sierra wilderness, but safety is always a concern if you aren't experienced. Yes, I agree with you so much on that. I honestly haven't done more than one night of overnight backpacking by myself. I do get a little bit concerned as a woman being out on trails alone. I've definitely hiked in the middle of the night, hiked in the early morning. I don't have a problem hiking alone, but I do get a little bit freaked out tent camping at night. So I've only done one overnight backpacking trip by myself. And I always tell myself that I'm going to do more, but I think I haven't really bit the bullet and just gone and done it, which I need to do. So it's definitely something that I want to do. I actually had people break into my house while I was home many years ago. And I think I've always been a little bit more scared since then. Definitely of like being alone in the dark. So to be honest, so it's something that I want to get over and I want to do more of, but I definitely agree with you that the wilderness is so beautiful and amazing. And that's why I love exploring it and being out in it as much as I possibly can, as well. But I definitely like having a friend if I'm overnight backpacking. So I'm going to leave you guys here. I am so thankful that all of you guys joined me and took time out of your Sunday to come on here and chat with me in my live video here. I am going to be live again tonight. If you guys like the show Westworld, I do an after show for it. It's at 8 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time. So it's on YouTube too. You can check it out on AfterBuzz TV. And if not, I will be putting out some new videos really soon. That Smoky Mountain one should be out in about a week, hopefully by next Sunday. So you guys can look forward to that. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not subscribed, or share it with a friend if you think you have a friend that loves hiking and being outdoors as much as we all do. I would love to get some new friends on here. So again, guys, thanks so much. Happy Sunday. Stay safe out there. And I can't wait to see you guys all out on the trail soon. Bye.